Welcome back to Ill Ego Culture Brands Talk. I am your host, John Nostos, aka Ill Ego CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion Two Cup Larry and Cody Big Meat Malk. And as usual, if Dion's sitting on this side, it's because we have a guest at the table. And today we have Ryan Goldstone, who actually is just a member from our gym that I happen to meet, who seems to know everyone we know and has been in kind of the networks of powerlifting for quite some time. But even more importantly, he's also a self-studied, and I mean this in a good way, geek for all the crazy shit that we talk about on the show, which is like pyramids, aliens, politics. Yeah. I mean, you name it.
Serial killers.
Science, like this guy's into it. We had a brief conversation in the gym about it, and we discussed like, damn, we got to get you on the show sometime, and so we're making it happen. So yeah. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So to kind of kick this off, I asked you before we started, but I just want to make it clear, you're not like degreed in studies or educated in all this stuff. You just kind of, for like the last 15, 20 years have just been kind of a self-researcher of all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I've got, my background started in mechanical engineering, then I went into hard ultrasounds, and then now I'm in cybersecurity. So I stayed on the tech side of things, but I got a smart dad. He's a doctor. So I think, from an early age, I got into just reading and trying to investigate things. His brother, one of my best friends, kind of got me started on some of these rabbit holes back in the day.
Okay.
Just sending me little articles here and there, not to really do anything. It was like, hey, you might find this interesting. And from there, just started digging. And as you guys know, once you start finding, you start seeing something somewhere, and then it kind of lines up with something completely unrelated somewhere else.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking weird.
And you start seeing, 2, 3, 4 different things, completely unrelated sources.
Yeah.
Unrelated to anything, and it's all lining up. It's like, well, let's keep it mental.
There's more.
Let's write that down. Let's maybe dig a little deeper.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were actually, are you still like competitive in powerlifting, or do but you were really competitive in powerlifting?
I was back in the 2005 to probably like 2013, 2014.
Okay.
I was fortunate to be one of the original members of Twin City Barbell in the Twin Cities with Greg and Debbie Damica and that crew. Love those guys. Shout out to them.
Is it true too, Marshall used to idolize you back in the day?
I don't know what idolize, but he did. He told me
sure
out of the.
Did.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Did,
He told me one day he was
worshipped.
I was chasing after you for a while, right? And I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, man, you were one of the strongest guys in the area, and I was chasing after you. And I'm like, huh. Funny how things change. Then I move out to the East Coast, all my numbers plummet, and Marshall just takes off like a rocket. But
now he's chasing after me.
And you chasing Dion still.
Yep. But yeah, Marshall, AC, Jason out here. I mean, those guys all put up ridiculous numbers. That would have been number 4, number 5 had I stayed out here. But in that crew, I'm okay with that.
That's what's
Marshall was chasing my bench for a long time. It took him a long time to break into the 700s.
I bet you could take him on squat now.
Well, yeah, most people could, unfortunately.
That's kind of mean. I don't know.
I think Freya's got him on squat.
Yeah. I'm not going to kick a man when he's down. He's got back problems.
Nah, like Marshall likes that.
He's got little chicken legs now.
Hey, I do want to point out, because Marshall had posted it the other day, he said, let's do a cover-up challenge or whatever for...
Oh, yeah.
For
and then he wore booty shorts for 5 days in a row?
Yeah. I was so confused.
Okay, Marshall.
I was like, who's doing it?
Just do it for the work, not for the attention, and cover your body parts that you're training, and then he wears booty shorts to do legs.
I told you, he's wearing the same shit I do.
He can't do that though.
He's wearing the same shit I do.
Maybe I'll try it. And then I was like, well, the leader already failed, so
I'm glad you saw that too, man, because as soon as I saw him, he was doing squats in his monolift, and he had these tiny little shorts hiked all the way up, just flexing his quads out every move.
I was there in person. I saw
what happened to the cover up that he just posted about, bro?
Just because he's at his home gym, he thinks it doesn't apply there, but it does. It still does.
Look, whatever he and Kathy wants to do in their spare time, but nobody wants to do that.
Straight up. Hell yeah, man. Well, I want to get into some of the juice. We talked briefly downstairs a little bit, just while we were waiting for these guys to show up, just kind of about everything that's going on right now in Israel and Palestine and whatnot. So I would love to get kind of some of your perspective, because I feel like when we started talking, I was like, okay, this dude's going to like school us and educate us on a lot of information, because I feel like you're pretty well versed in your understanding of what's going on here. At least you have an understanding of the origin of all this and whatnot. So that would be kind of cool if you want to run through what we talked about a little bit. Just like I expressed to you, first of all, like, I think we're, for the most part, I know Cody kind of is pretty confident in his understanding. we're still like, what's really happening and what's the right side and the wrong side and whatnot. And you gave me a pretty cool perspective about the differences. So,
well, I mean, I think first off, it's important worth pointing out that, you know, in the current political climate, it's okay to hate both sides.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about that, you know, everyone, you know, a few weeks ago, everyone had a Ukrainian flag in their profile. Now they've got either Israel or Palestine. Both sides have fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, the history, you know, I mean, like we were talking about downstairs. So if we're going to come at it from, you know, I don't want to say anti anybody, but, you know, Israel's no saint. You know, if you look at, you know, 1917, the Balfour Declaration was created to create the modern day state of Israel. That's a big part of what the world wars were for, is to get that established. So Israel was created in 1947, 1948, when they actually had the physical landmass. You have 1968 with I think that was the initial, when they were basically shrinking the territory for where the Palestinians could be. And I have maps on my phone.
I've seen the map. It's like they're little,
but it started there, you know, and then as time has gone on, so it's basically like a tiny little strip, and then you have Gaza, the area, and that's it. Current modern day. You know, the Palestinians, they have more of a claim to that area genetically than the modern day Jews do. If you want to go back into DNA and that kind of stuff, you know, the Palestinians have more Semitic blood than the actual current inhabitants there. If you want a fun rabbit hole to go down, the current inhabitants, most of their blood comes from the Khazarian Mountains. So I'm sure people are going to label me as an anti-Semite for saying that, but these are facts. I'm not taking a side on this. I'm just stating, if we're going to look at it from purely a DNA standpoint, Palestinians have more claim to that area. So when you have a group that's been slowly taking away,
so essentially, just to help the comprehension level of the people that probably watch this, mostly, I'm just joking, but what you're saying is that it's kind of like they're more native to those parts than the current people in Israel are, is the point you're trying to make.
Right. And that's a point of contention. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to come out and say, well, that's not true, or we have this. If we go from the biblical standpoint, you're going to have the argument. And as a Christian myself, you're going to have some people saying, well, we're God's chosen people. Well, they're going to go back to Genesis, where it's talking about, you know, I have the verse in my notes here, but basically talking about, you know, the blessings to Abraham. But this is where, if we start getting into translations, and this is something for me, I love reading about the different codices and, you know, where the texts are coming from, what books are coming from where, why they were included, why ones were taken out. If you look at that, if you look at, you know, the King James, for example, coming from the received text codices, it's a singular blessing to Abraham and his family. But what's happened with modern day church, and this gets into the fun, dicey topic of Zionism and the Schofield Study Bible in like 1919 or whatever, and then Westcott and Hort before that, we've taken study notes from the trash can, effectively, and what Schofield had. And we've taken that to make, you know, do little translational things here and say, well, no, this is a blessing for all of his offspring, including the modern day Jews in Israel. So if you hate them, well, then you're hating God's chosen people. So we're going to have that argument too of, well, this is our land because we're God's chosen people, and you really can't say anything bad about us. So again, this is, I'm sure, my first podcast ever. People are going to give me a lot of flack for saying this, but I'm just stating facts right now. I'm keeping my, you know, whatever biases I may or may not have out of the picture. This is basic stuff. If you want to look into this stuff, you know, by all means. So, you know, you have that aspect of it. And then we were talking downstairs on the flip side.
Could I catch you for a second? Could just everybody make sure their Bluetooth is off just before we get too far into it?
Oh, good call, dude.
Yeah, I realized, I was like, oh, fuck.
It just tends to run interference sometimes, and we get these weird buzzing.
Oh, yeah, no,
and I didn't want us to get too far and then have to scratch everything. So just...
We're trying to be professional.
Hey,
sorry about that.
That's why you brought a random stranger in from your gym on your podcast, right?
Well, if we're gonna be professional, we need smart people to come on and help us sometimes.
Exactly.
Appreciate that. You know, but then I mean, I can keep going down that rabbit hole. But then you know, you have the flip side, like we were talking about. So you got Hamas. You know, they're using people as meat shields. They're you know, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, killing, shooting bombs in Israel. I mean, the paragliders. No one can condone that, right?
Right.
It's complete bullshit. You can't have these guys coming into festivals and just slaughtering a bunch of people and expecting no retaliation. But I bring up all the, you know, just the really, really, you know, 100,000 foot overview history on there, because the Palestinian people, they're not happy. You know, so this is a powder keg.
Yeah.
You have two groups that have been at each other's throats for a long time. You have one group that's been in power that's slowly been taking more and more and more of the land. So you don't have more of a claim. I mean, there's plenty of stories where people they'll be going outside and you'll have some Israelis come and they'll just start squatting in their house and they say, this is my house now. What are you going to do about it? If you have a problem with them, the IDF comes in and kicks on the door, and they're going to shoot you in the head. I mean, again, this is, that's pretty bad. Hamas and the stuff they're doing, they're a pretty heinous group too. So it's a powder keg, like I said earlier, of, it's a perfect storm. But, then if we also take a step further and you look at, well, who's behind Hamas? Well, you got CIA, you got the Mossad, who controls CIA and arguably controls all intelligence agencies around the world. They have the most sophisticated intelligence and defense mechanisms set up globally. We get our technology from them. They supply everybody. Right. I'm sure you guys are familiar with, Project Pegasus that can hack anything. So if you have that implanted on your phone, nothing you can do to stop it. Right. We learned from the WikiLeaks years ago, because of those guys, anything that has an Intel, an AMD, and I forget the third processor, but anything that has one of those chips on there, it has a permanent backdoor. Yeah. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Right.
Nothing.
They talked about it on the Sean Ryan show and Rogan too, that they do that.
Just so everybody knows, Mossad is Israeli intelligence, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then again,
but isn't the Hamas primarily, they don't claim to be, but isn't Hamas primarily funded by Iran, who in turn is funded by the CIA?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and again, that's, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the board here, but when you have a situation like this, like that's why I was saying earlier, it's okay to hate both sides. Because you have Israel that's, now you have, and like John and I were talking earlier, so in conflicts in the past, there's stories of Israelis sniping little kids. You have stories now of Hamas doing atrocious things to little Israeli kids. Any innocent life that's being shed, regardless of if you're pro this side or pro that side, is horrendous.
Yeah.
People are people. I don't care who or what you pray to. No one's life is more valuable than someone else. I'd be a hypocrite to say otherwise, if I'm a professing Christian, to say, well, you believe in something different than me, John. So therefore you're a piece of garbage and I'm worth more than you.
Yeah.
That's garbage. Yeah. You can't have that approach in life.
But there really is there's no winner in this thing, I don't think. Well, and I don't think there ever will be.
No, in the sense of anytime there's innocent bloodshed, but I think we can make some pretty strong arguments too that the whole purpose of this, to say that, I've read reports where Egypt let Israel know of a attack coming in a couple days, and they sat on it. They said, no, whatever. Yeah. Well, no, this is going to happen. And they did nothing. They sat on it. So you're having an outdoor music festival with, I'm sure you guys know what the Iron Dome is there. So you have the most anti-missile defense system in the world. They also have the Samson option too. I don't know if you guys know about that.
They just announced the beam. The Iron Beam they have now.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Samson option. Mm-hmm. So supposedly they have, if nuclear war happens or someone starts sending nukes to Israel, they've got enough nukes with the Samson option. Because remember Samson, the Bible, where he pushes the pillars and takes out everybody, his one last, feat of strength. It's kind of the same thing. They have strategically placed nukes pointed at all kinds of places around the world. So if they go down, everybody goes down.
You're talking about something else. I did read. It was they have like
it's an iron beam. It's a laser.
It's a laser that can shoot missiles out of the sky.
Yeah.
That's what you were talking about is dope though.
Yeah, I know what he's saying.
So fuck everybody.
He's saying
but everyone, all nations that have nuclears have
I'm
that.
I'm sure we have some sort
of. We just call it something different. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
but see that
we can't get fucked.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing too, right? Because if one country launches a nuke, everyone's launching it.
That's
the entire globe is. You've got about 30 minutes or less before the entire world is just one giant piece of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, you can't really hide it anymore.
Nuclear war's not going to happen. It's all for posturing.
So that's what I said. I said it makes strategically it doesn't make any sense for any country to nuke any country because you're essentially just fucking wasting all of those resources that country has.
Absolutely. It's a last resort.
Strategically, it's fucking retarded.
But
except for us in Hiroshima.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but that was before. Everyone else
got their hands on it.
Well, and then we now know that the effects of a nuclear bomb can last up to.
They're saying that's still affecting the Pacific, on the West Coast.
And the nuclear bombs have only increased times like 100 now since then. So it just I can't foresee it. Like you said though, maybe like a guy like Putin who's gonna fucking die anyways. He just said, "Fuck it, send it."
Yeah, but does he really have the power to do that?
Do you think they'd have a check and
balance system? Back in what is it? during the Cold War, there was a guy, whoever's in charge was going to order a strike, but then the guy that was in charge of like pressing the button was like going like this. He was about to, but then he like got called off right away. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It was like during the Cold War. It was like he was about to launch the nuke, but he like hesitated and just didn't do it.
And then ended up backing him off.
Yeah, and then
so he would have pushed the button otherwise, and
yeah, like it was almost a fucking thing.
Yeah, could you imagine if you were the button pusher? For
that could be all bullshit, but I'm pretty sure that I remember reading that or hearing about that. Like it was really close to being nuclear war, like really close.
Well, because back then it was what? It was us, the Soviets, and who else?
Yeah. So it was like all over the Cuban Missile Crisis,
right.
Like all over that. But anyways,
yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's why I think people get up in arms. I think, oh, the World War III, it's going to happen. The nukes. No, it's not. We're all going to die. If someone launches a nuke, the sirens are going off. Every country, there's a lot of them now that are nuclear capable, even the ones that have one or two, look how much damage just one can do.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Even if we all had our own Iron Dome system, at some point, something's going to get past. It's just, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, with that much flying around, it doesn't matter if it hits or not. We're all going to feel the effects.
Well, and what it does to the natural resources.
Yeah.
The sky will be covered in smoke and
yeah. I mean, if you look at like when Mount St. Helena or Mount St. Helena, whatever, when the last time that blew up, the amount of soot and ash it put in the air, it was something the equivalent of like multiple nuclear bombs, just because of how much material. I mean, I could be off there, but it was a significant amount where just that alone.
Yeah. And it dropped a couple of degrees.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it was
nuts, bro. Yeah. That's scary.
And that's just a
natural.
Yeah. That's just a volcano. We're not talking about precision nuclear warheads that are just the whole purpose of it. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't see it either.
It's just
what do you think about everyone trying to predict this as the end times from the Bible?
I think we're in the birthing pangs of it, but things are going to get worse before they get worse. We got a lot more stuff to go on.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the prerequisites before the stuff in Revelation happens is Israel needs to be established as its own sovereign country. And that's why I was mentioning the stuff earlier, not to go on this tangent, but is the current modern day state of Israel, is that correspond with what John was talking about in Revelation? Because it's stolen land. And if those people aren't even God's chosen people, if they're just there by name, because what a lot of people fail to realize, you can be Jewish by religion, you can be Jewish by race, so you can be an agnostic racial Jew, or you can be someone that converts to Judaism,
right,
and be considered that, and you can be grafted in. You wouldn't be a full, but like let's say one of you guys, well, I know you're married, and you guys are,
yeah.
So if you wanted to marry a Jewish girl,
who said half married?
No, I said halfy. Like a halfy Jew is what I was getting
I thought you were saying about half married.
No.
Because you're engaged
I'm
and
not
shit.
half. Yeah. Bro, I ain't got a ring on my finger.
Who's a half Jew?
That's what I'm saying.
No, I thought he was saying, yes, he's half married.
No.
Because he said, I don't know if you guys are married. He said half.
Till I got a ring on my finger, I
thought he said half Jew. I was like, who's half
That's
Jew?
what he was talking about.
That's what I did say. I said half Jew. That's what he's talking about. I just gave it a name.
Dion's a little racist, dude.
That's not racist.
He goes there, man. We've tried to tame him.
We tried. Hey,
it's just what it is.
But it doesn't work.
Yep. Sorry.
It's all good. So if you have someone, like let's say you marry a Jewish gal and you want to, because they have a nationwide, global program where if you have, you can prove you're Israeli, they will move you back there. You'll get a house, you'll get a, a job, whatever they'll get you. If you're not, so let's say you were engaged to a Jewish gal and you want to go back there, you would have to convert to Judaism. There'd be steps, and that's the only way you could be considered like a partial citizen. You could get some kind of citizenship, but it wouldn't be like you'd never be a full like. Coming here to the U.S., you can be a naturalized citizen. Over there, from what I understand, that doesn't happen. You'd be allowed to live there.
Like if we got divorced or whatever, like they wouldn't allow me to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs, but it's something where you wouldn't ever, living over there, you would never be considered an Israeli citizen.
Yeah.
You could have, it's like a partial citizenship, but it would never be full-fledged. Like here, like my father-in-law, for example, moved here at 19 from Germany, and he's he got a naturalized U.S. citizen now, and he loves it. But it wouldn't be the same. Like over there, it's not recognized the same. I don't even know where I was going with that tangent, but
we get distracted easily on this podcast.
How do you see this whole conflict ending? Do you see it ending in World War III, or do you see it ending peacefully?
Oh, I remember we were going this way. You were asking about the end time stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that they definitely want to, but I think this particular conflict is more of a land grab just to finalize the rest of the land in that area and just grab it. Egypt, like we were talking about earlier, Egypt's closed their border and said, we don't want you guys because they have holy land in Egypt. So if the Palestinians go there, well, what's going to happen? Well, that conflict is now going to be here. Now Hamas is going to be in, and they may or may not, but I use air quotes because Palestinians are just the demon, the devils right now for a good chunk of the population. So if they go down to Egypt and there's holy land there, now it's going to be a land grab striking that. Well, that's holy land for us, and we need that too. And Egypt's like, nope, we're not
getting involved.
We're not getting involved. We're not allowing that in here. We're a neighbor, but we're not touching this. So in terms of World War III, I don't think this is it. I think the biggest issue we have is China. Obviously, they're the great Satan currently. If we go into the Gog and Magog stuff in Revelation, who or what that's going to be, I've heard some guys say that it's going to be Russia and some of the surrounding areas. But again, that also predicates on the fact that Israel, modern day Israel, is what the Bible is referencing in end times. But again, depending on what angle you go on that, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always hesitant to follow that side of the theory that they try to throw at us because I feel like they're trying to make it look that way on purpose. With the moves that they're making and the way the media is approaching it all. They want us to believe it's the end times. And so they try to match everything up to what the Bible says, because the understanding that I always run with is that the Bible just says you won't know what's coming.
Well, it says we can't predict the day or time.
Right.
We can use our brains. God gave us brains to do this stuff. And whether you believe in, the God of the Bible or not, you can definitely tell things are not on a great path or great trajectory worldwide.
Yeah. There's evil among us for sure.
Evil's evil, whether, it's kind of like when I explain, karma to people, whether you believe in karma or something else, like the laws still apply to you. Mm-hmm. If I go out of my way and just deck you in the gym one day, well, there's consequences to that.
That'd be funny.
John will come after me and swing plates in my head too, or you would. And that's just the basics. But you walk around, you're a shitbag, like you're going to be treated as such. You do good things to people. Again, coming in from biblical perspective, if I'm treating, using the golden rule and treating others how I want to be treated, that will be honored. If you're helping other people, God will bless that. It doesn't matter if you believe in him or not. Right. Those things are still going to happen. I don't mean that from just kind of be a good person and, all roads lead to heaven type thing, but that's another debate. But, I think in terms of end times, I think we still have a lot more going on, and it would have to be globally versus just a centralized conflict right there between, some neighbors having a fight that one of the neighbors instigated.
Yeah. So what do you think the resolution for that war is going to be? Like, what do you think Israel's going to blow everyone up and then they're going to take it over?
Do you think it's just a friggin' another checkbook for the war machine to be used? I think we brought it up. Ukraine might be dialing down, and now this is dialing up again. So,
the money laundering.
Is that the whole reason behind the U.S. posturing so much about?
Hasn't it always been
backing up Israel?
Yeah. Well,
I know that they're our ally, and we get a lot of technology from them and stuff. But
we also send them more in foreign aid than all other countries combined annually, which is another. Yeah. I'd much rather we take the billions and put it back here in the U.S. personally. Yeah. But and the whole argument of they're the only democracy in the Middle East. Well, we could do multiple podcasts on that one. That's again, for whoever's listening, please don't shoot me DMs, say, Ryan, you're anti-Semitic. I'm just speaking on what I've been reading over the years. I
don't think our listeners are that serious.
I don't think they're going to think you're anti-Semitic. If anything, they're going to say that I said have to.
Until like 5 years from now, we're fucking like #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah.
And then they'll go back for that shit.
Then they're going to get you.
If facts make me anti-Semitic, then you got bigger issues.
Hashtag facts.
Yeah.
Hashtag facts.
Cheeks clapped.
But yeah.
So you think that Israel is just going to roll in and I guess
I think they want the rest of the land personally.
Yeah, decimate the Hamas.
Yeah, they're already doing that. That's not rule.
I don't think they've gone in yet.
This is not going to last very long.
Well, I saw that Netanyahu.
Bibi.
I saw that he stated today that he told his people in Israel, brace yourselves because this is going to be a long war.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It doesn't need to be, that's for sure.
No.
They have the capability of...
Well, you saw his babysitters, the CIA told him to say that because we're going to keep this freaking going.
The CIA doesn't babysit Bibi.
Oh yeah, Mossad
babysits CIA.
Yeah,
we report to them. Well, CIA is its own entity, but
so you think that the whole intelligence, the failure of intelligence, was bullshit?
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can't have that kind of technology.
That's crazy.
In all those different areas, like we talked about earlier, and then let some guys
bulldoze
paraglide into a music festival.
So yeah, we were talking about this on the last one with the tunnels. Like, what's the deal with the tunnels? Why can't they destroy the tunnels?
Why was the Taliban allowed to exist for so long? It's a fake, false conflict. You need a boogeyman.
So you're saying that we could have fucking destroyed the Taliban if we really wanted to?
We could have glassed that whole region.
See what I'm saying, dude?
That's what I said.
What's even better though is when you realize that Osama bin Laden's not even dead.
No, he's not.
You don't think Osama bin Laden's dead?
No. You. I mean, think about it. All of the Navy SEALs that have made so much money off saying I was the one that did it, and someone's like, no, I was the one that pulled the trigger. So no one pulled the trigger. You don't
believe Rob O'Neill?
I don't even know their names because I don't give a shit.
He's the one that supposedly killed him.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure he killed somebody. I wasn't there. I'm not going to say he didn't kill anybody, but you have one of the, terrorist number one globally. And what do? They take the body out in mystery and then they just dump him in the ocean.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I'm not saying they're going to parade him in the streets like they did that, poor Gaddafi. Like we were talking about that earlier. I mean, that guy was just murdered. He was actually not the terrorist everyone made him out to be, but he was sitting on literal tons of gold, so that's why we took him on top of him not having a central bank.
Is that the guy that died like a dog?
So they dragged him to the streets. He was dead, and they were just beating him with sticks and shoving things into him. And I mean, it was horrific what they did to that guy.
Fuck.
But
wait, not Gaddafi. I'm not
Saddam.
No,
they did stuff to him too.
Like, when did Gaddafi die? Is that recently?
Oh, jeez.
Who is he again? Who is he in charge of?
It wasn't Egypt. It was, why can't I think of the country? You'll have to look up, fact check me on the country.
Who took him out?
CIA.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was one of those things they didn't, John and I were talking about this earlier. Like, it was one of the last remaining countries to not have a centralized bank. And we can't have that. So what do we do when countries don't have them? We destabilize them, bring them to ruin, and then establish a centralized bank.
Yeah, but first we stage their bad guy theory,
right? And
then we attack.
Well, and so I've got friends in the Middle East.
Al-Baghdadi, that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Al-Baghdadi when Trump's like, he died like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where's going. I was going with something. So we were talking about, so I've got friends over there, and according to the sources I have, if you had a kid, he would send you a basket full of like cash and all kinds of fancy gifts. And it's like, hey, you're building the community. You're adding more people. Thank you. This is what I want. I want to build more of our people in our community. It was a big deal. I mean, the guy had, tons and tons of gold. So it's not like it was anything for him to send you a nice gift basket, but like, I never got anything, I'm a dad. President never sent me anything. I never got a gift basket. I never got anything.
Stimulus check.
You should just
what, that I had to pay taxes on? Yeah.
If you move to the hood, they'll give you welfare when you have kids.
That's true.
Assassinated in 2011.
That's like a prize basket.
Kinda.
I mean, depending who you talk to.
It says he was assassinated by rebel forces.
Funded by the CIA.
So I don't know. Honestly, I can't speak on Gaddafi. I don't know how he was.
He was made out to be the bad guy. They wanted him because he didn't have a centralized bank and he was sitting on literally tons of gold.
How about Saddam then?
He's a mixed bag.
So
I mean, we know now.
From what I gathered, he was kind of an asshole. Like, he was bad, but he kept Iraq stabilized.
Yeah. So I have an Iraqi friend of mine that I've gotten to know over the years, and she said, the stuff he's in the media, he wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was some.
It sounds like his son was more.
His son. One of them was batshit crazy. Yeah. Fun fact: he had like 3 or 4 body doubles, 2 or 5 body doubles. It was nuts.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that documentary they had where it was just showing like gold everything. Like that was all real. They had. I mean, the money those guys have. So back
it was fucking crazy.
Just to backtrack a little bit here. So I was saying I did heart ultrasounds earlier. I had a lot of instructors from Mayo, and they would tell stories of how when you'd have some of the oil czars from the Middle East, they want the best care in the world. So you're either going to Mayo, you're going to Mass General, you're going down to Baylor, you're going to Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins, like those 5 right there are best hospitals in the world. So they would come and they would rent out floors at Mayo. All of the metal was gold. They replaced it with gold doorknobs, water fountains. It did not matter. Gold. What? Only male nurses, only male doctors, because of the hierarchy thing there. It just gold, like money we can't even fathom. Like we could see pictures of it and realize, but do you know how much it would cost to redo a floor at a major teaching hospital? Appearance. And he'd rent it out, so like the rooms were just their family, because it would be like, the son or daughter or wife or whatever that was afflicted with whatever was they're going through, and then some extended family, and that was gold everywhere.
Damn,
that's crazy. Anything metal is gold.
Well, they say when you see like the top richest people in the world, it's not who you think it is. Oh, God, it's the people in the Middle East that have all the oil.
Those are just the ones that
they don't report. They don't report
their shit.
Yeah, they don't report their money, but there's fucking trillionaires out there.
Well, yeah, now we're getting into 13 families.
Yeah.
I mean, the oil guys, they got a lot of money, but that's peanuts. Like they're I mean, it's cool to be able to buy a Lambo that's decked out with, Supreme all over it from Supreme itself. And it's a one of one, whatever, and they wreck it in the desert and then just go buy a new one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you have stories of that with some of the Indian reservations in the area. I back in the day, I used to do loans.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And these guys, they'd go down to Chicago to like the Ferrari dealership or other places. They'd fly up the highway coming back up here, just get blitzkrieg drunk on the road, destroy their car, and then it didn't matter. They could buy a new one.
They didn't repair them.
Yeah. No,
so like you can go up there and they've got fucking Mercedes and Lambos and shit.
I think you said that.
Like just stockpiled in their yard, all beat up and shit, because they're just like,
because if you're part of the tribe, I mean, they're quite literally getting hundreds of $1,000s a month. If depending how many degrees of separation you are from the tribe itself, the amount of money, because unfortunately, alcohol is just destroyed their culture,
right?
So the guy would tell me, is like, well, and you had to live on the res too, so you'd either have a mansion with all the windows just completely blown out, I mean the place just beaten to shit, or you'd have like a double wide trailer with a fleet of exotic cars beaten to shit in the front. He's like, I've never seen anything like it.
I can't remember if it was you that told me or if it was my boy who is from Bismarck. So he's right next to the res in Mandan. I think it was him that was telling me the exact same thing. You would go to the trailer and you'd see all of these freaking nice ass cars.
Oh, yeah.
It's so strange.
There was someone from the gym that I remember telling me this story. They would go there to like work with the people and stuff. I don't know what they did for them, but they said that they were always there on the res, and it was just like the cars that, like, he's like, there's probably millions of dollars worth of cars just jumped in people's yards everywhere.
So so this guy, one of my clients, he was a car salesman, and he was telling me a story. Some like, I don't know, 14, 15-year-old kid, whatever like the bare minimum was to drive, shows up to the dealership, and he wanted to buy a Grand Cherokee or something, and at the time it was like, I don't know, $50,000-$60,000. Not that that's cheap, but I mean, what are they now? Like 85, 90? I mean, they're ridiculous. Thanks, Obama. Anyway, so this kid shows up and he's got a backpack. He's like, hey, I want to buy a vehicle. And they're like, yeah, okay, kid, whatever. Like, move along. Are you even old enough to drive? No. Shows the license. He's like, okay, do you want me to call your parents? He's like, no. Opens up his backpack and dumps the cash out. And it's like $60,000 in cash, because he was part of the tribe. He was getting now he was old enough to start getting his cut each month.
Yep.
So he rolls up with the cash and dumps it on the table. And the guy's just like, we got to make some phone calls. Because you can't do that because of RICO laws and everything. They had to verify like
the cash.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, because anything more than $10,000, RICO gets involved with that kind of stuff. So everyone thinks like, I win the lottery, I'm just gonna pay everything cash. Yeah. Well, that's why you get a money guy to handle these things. Because if you just roll in and start throwing down stacks, the cops are going to show up. You ain't walking out there with a vehicle. They're going to get a big investigation. It's a headache. Mm-hmm. But that's what this kid did. He just opens up his backpack and unzips it. So they had to make a bunch of phone calls. They verified. Apparently, he drove off with the Grand Cherokee. But, because he paid in cash, but they had to verify. They were like, what's a kid doing with a backpack
full of cash?
$60,000.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but, I'm in high school. I got a couple $100 in my bank account. I'm like, yeah, right. I can go on a date. I can save up, for a new video game system, whatever. I'm a drummer, so I could buy some new, drum equipment. But, whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's so much money out there. It's nuts, bro.
There is.
Yeah. Apparently there's more for foreign aid than there is for local aid, though.
I just saw today.
That blows my mind.
I just saw today that Biden's going to go to the floor or his press conference, and he's asking for
100 mil.
I don't know. No. It's billions.
Oh,
for Ukraine, for Ukraine, for Israel, and for the southern border. So
just in time.
But now let's see how much he gives to each. I'm curious. Yeah. What is America gonna get? Or is it just one of those things like they like to do where they just throw it in to say, look, we're doing.
Yeah.
It'll all go to Israel.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Ukraine's dried up. And now with more and more heat investigating where the money's actually going. I mean, Israel's our greatest ally, so no one's going to question that. And if you do, you're anti-Semitic.
Even though it's crazy how like obvious everything is that's going on over there.
That's fucking insane. It's like we're up to like $150 billion and they have no idea where it's going.
Well, and anytime they set up a committee to do it, it's the people that are in on it. So it's like, oh, we're going to investigate it. You're going to set up your own buddies to investigate yourself.
Yeah.
Where have we seen that playbook before from a couple of years ago with the FBI?
Yeah. That shit's fucking nuts. So, not to change the subject dramatically, but I want to ask you, so you said you're a Christian.
Yeah.
What is your theory of how the human race was created, or I guess how we've all started? Like, do you believe in evolution? Do you believe in Adam and Eve, or do you believe in like Big Bang Theory?
No, I believe God created the earth. If we get into like how old is the earth, I don't really think it matters. I definitely lean more towards the fact that it's 6,000 years old, give or take.
So not to cut you off, sorry. I grew up Catholic. I went to a Catholic school. And we were always raised to believe the Adam and Eve story, right? But then a few podcasts ago, John had asked me. He said, "Why did God create the dinosaurs before man?" And I was like, "Fuck, dude, I never even thought of that." 34 years of my fucking life, I've never thought about why the dinosaurs came before mankind.
Did they exist before man?
That was the question that I was posing, was like, did they actually exist? Like it was rhetorical. Like, why would he make dinosaurs before humans?
Are you saying that dinosaurs didn't exist, or are you saying that they existed?
Dinosaurs 100% existed, and the Earth is not flat. Before people start thinking I'm some fundamental weirdo with all the stuff I'm saying on this show. No.
Okay, explain the firmament.
It's a vast expanse.
What does that mean?
Just that. A vast expanse. It's not some kind of glass dome and this and that. I mean, if we're going to believe that what the Bible says is true and God is who he says he is, if he snapped his fingers and spoke things into existence, but all he could do was create a dinner plate with a glass dome over it on the back of some cosmic turtle, surfing the cosmic rays. People believe that.
I know a lot of people.
We're on the back of a turtle right now.
That's what they think.
Totally. We're in the turtle shell, bro.
And that Antarctica is actually the ice wall from Game of Thrones, or that's the analogy they use, but yet no one can look over
now
it.
That I believe.
Do you believe there's something beyond the ice wall that we don't know about?
I don't believe there is an ice wall. I think Antarctica is a completely different topic, but it's not the thing surrounding the world. The world is an oblate spheroid.
Well, I don't think it. I play with that theory, but I don't think I believe that theory. But I do believe that there's something beyond that we don't understand.
So, I mean, are we going to talk about like Middle Earth or?
Sure. Yeah, maybe Middle Earth. I know that's part of the theory.
I would give more credence to Middle Earth than I would Flat Earth, for sure.
Like, are you saying that there's another civilization? Is that what you're talking about?
They say there is.
Yeah, I'm not saying
under the ice of Antarctica.
Mm-hmm. Well, so now we're getting to Hyperborea, or the Hyperborean theories of how there's basically a handful of entryways into this other, whether it's inside the dimension? Earth or another dimension or something. Okay. Yeah. And that's why there's the theory goes, there's a lot of secrecy around Antarctica for that reason, because that's one of the entry points.
Yeah. I'm just curious, why else would we have a world treaty around Antarctica? Like what that doesn't make sense. We'll nuke you, but we'll all be friendly about Antarctica.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of weird stuff about Antarctica. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but years ago, Fitbit got hacked.
Yeah.
And someone was able to take all of the walking and whatever routes and put them all over the globe. But what happened is that exposed a lot of military bases, because Fitbit exists. Everyone uses Fitbit, right? Mm-hmm. So what ended up happening is in Antarctica, they started seeing a lot of 90-degree angles, which, as I'm sure you guys know, in nature, that does not exist. Perfect 90-degree angles is not a natural occurrence. Mm. And they started seeing all these things that were basically like, on Google Maps, someone mapped it to there, and it basically like blew the doors off of what it was doing. Is it started mapping out where all the underground bases were in Antarctica. And so Google, I mean, I'm sure it's archived somewhere. Once it's on the internet, nothing is ever really lost. Right. But someone actually placed it on there. So it's like, I know we got a bunch of secret bases here in the US that they don't want to talk about. And everyone knows where Area 51 is. There's a base just north of that that's supposedly even more top secret with other fun.
So maybe that guy wasn't full of shit.
Yeah, what did he say? 13,000 square miles of underground fortress.
I mean, he could have been.
Like he's talking spaceships and all kinds.
You're talking the DUMBs, deep underground military bases.
Yeah.
Those are, whether they're true or not, I don't know, but there's supposed to be a lot of them, and it's supposed to be the underground tunnels are like glass. Like you've never seen highways this smooth, and so it basically allows for unimpeded transport, cross country with these crazy fast vehicles.
That's crazy.
And then supposedly, if we take it even further, this is how we start doing crazy human trafficking. Where it's just like, you need to get something, like the Getty, for example, the art museum down in California. Do you guys know the story behind that?
No.
Oh, it's a fun rabbit hole. So the guy that it was something in the billions for its creation. I mean, sure, they have a lot of fancy artwork. They have a lot of cool things going on. The guy that, it was like the head architect or the guy that was in charge of the whole building process. He got knighted. Why would you get knighted for the building of an art museum? That's kind of weird. You look at the fact that it's got so many different floors and that it has like private armed, like heavily trained military protecting the thing as well.
Interesting.
You don't see that, if you want to go to see like the Mona Lisa, for example. Yes, there's security, but I mean, look at all these stupid climate activists that are going around and throwing cans of soup on these paintings, not realizing they're covered in glass. Thank God.
Yeah.
But
because that just happened to the Mona Lisa recently.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, and it keeps happening. These guys think they're making a statement where they try like gluing their hand to something, and it's like,
so dumb.
There's protective cover, specifically for instances like this. They know people like you are going to be unhinged and be like, ha ha ha, or some kid trying to do a YouTube prank. Let me throw some soda on this picture and see what. No, but the Getty has this stuff. There's multiple layers. Supposedly, so as the story goes, like the further and further down you go, now you start. It's no longer an art museum. Now it's child trafficking and much worse. So if you're bored, that's a fun rabbit hole to go down. But I only bring that up because, well, A, it's fun to talk about, but B, that's one of the many areas that's supposedly connected with like the underground tunnels, like the Playboy Mansion, for example. Yes. Giant CIA honeypot. And it was one of the many houses out there. They had these underground tunnels. So they would, they had cameras in every room. You'd have underage girls in all of the rooms. So you'd have these high name celebrities and movie stars and rock stars, whatever else.
He was the original Epstein, I think.
Yeah. He was a CIA asset. I mean, that came out. And so you have all these videos of these guys in compromised situations with underage people. Well, now what? Hey, John, unless you do this, I'm going to put this footage out there.
Damn.
Well, no,
That's
not.
how they got like LeBron and all these celebrities.
So they
got that ass. Got that ass.
Yeah.
And who's behind all that stuff? Mossad. That's it.
I'm catching on now.
Yeah. Well, it always connects.
Well, I always fucking say CIA, but now it makes sense that.
And well, I mean, the CIA is kind of it's a very effective lapdog of Mossad. Yeah. But Mossad has dirt on everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as I'm sure you guys know, like anybody that has any kind of prominence in media, they've got dirt on you. You get the nod to go to that next level because they have something on you.
So what's the story behind the Mossad then? Because we know that the CIA started in the late 40s, early 50s, and it kind of just got away from the government per se. So when did the Mossad start?
I don't know the exact date on that. Okay. I mean, it would be something, I would.
Was that post World War II too?
I don't know the exact dates.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest. I mean, I know the CIA was involved during those times, and was it created in parallel? Was it created after the fact? I don't know.
Yeah, but then just maybe got out of control just like they did.
It could be. I mean, you can't.
What came first, the Mossad or the CIA?
Yeah. I'm just curious about the.
Pretty sure it's CIA. But
I'm curious about the backstory from it, and I just don't know a lot about the Mossad. You never really hear about them.
Never even heard of it until now.
That's how they do. They want.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Blame it all on the CIA.
So, going back to what we were initially talking about, I wanted to get your opinion on it. So we were talking about whether or not man was created first or dinosaurs. So what do you believe?
Well, so now we're getting into the 7-day theory, right?
Okay.
Of what came what. So we know that God made animals before he created man. So I don't think it's stretched to say men and dinosaurs existed, especially since.
So they just got fucked up.
Who?
The man. There was fucking dinosaurs.
I mean,
they got fucked up.
I don't know.
That would suck, dude. Could you imagine living during like that period?
I don't think you'd be as scared as you are now, because we don't
Well, we didn't like what?
I feel like you'd be okay for a little bit.
No,
they're not just babies like getting eaten by dinosaurs. I feel like there's got to be a way for it to work.
Well, no.
Clearly, we found a way to survive because we're still having this conversation right now.
Well, I mean, a few
we
of them,
beat the dinosaurs, bro. Let's just
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we evolved faster, of course, but
we can take down bears. We can take down dinosaurs. That's all I'm saying.
Dan, are you one of those guys that think you could fight like a wolf or a full-grown silverback or?
Haven't you heard our episodes? He's tried to fight a couple bears.
I fight a wolf for sure.
You would get annihilated.
Not a silverback gorilla, but I'll fight a wolf.
A wolf would eat you in heartbeat.
They'd have to get me quick, like without me knowing. Like I feel like.
How would you do it? Take the bite, go for the eyes.
Butthole. Any animal bites you go for their butthole, right? That's how it works.
You saw that dude do it to a dog fight, and now you're hooked on that.
You just got to do it. Shit. I'm gonna try it at least. That'll disorient him.
Dion's gonna be railing the dog, and the dog's just gonna be tearing him up, bro. He's gonna have no clue why.
Well, this podcast went out for
real. Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit, so before we run out of too much time.
I'll answer his question. So no, I don't believe in evolution. I believe microevolution in terms of small adaptations. We can see that throughout the
So like
absolutely.
Coming from primates to humans.
That's macro. No, the missing link doesn't exist.
So what do you believe? So what have you been to the Smithsonian before of natural history?
Yeah.
They have skeletons from start to finish. So what are those? Are they fake?
There's no missing link.
What do you mean?
The missing link would be the species that made that jump from the apes to humans or chimpanzees to humans. It doesn't exist though. Anytime one pops up, it is either.
But the apes still exist.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think it's actually chimpanzees I think we have more in common with. But anytime the missing link makes an appearance, it's either A, false, or B, it's a brand new species. But no, there's no, and it's not just that one. It would be there's no fish that went from water to being able to walk on land. They found some that they claim, the bones are, they would, this one has legs and it would show this. But if you actually look at the bone structure and understand basic anatomy, you would see that whatever these little appendages are would not be able to hold the weight of the fish, let alone allow it to walk in and out of land. So, there are changes in terms of leopards getting more specified types of spots for hiding and camouflage purposes. Absolutely. Or the ones with the bigger teeth that can make kills faster. Absolutely. That animal has the strongest bite of any animal in the animal kingdom for a reason, and it's evolved that way. Those kinds of things, yes. So microevolution, absolutely. It's basic science. I don't deny science, or I think the Bible works hand in hand with most all of science.
Yeah.
Most archaeologists, they reference the Bible for all kinds of stuff, and there has been thousands of things that they've proven from the Bible in modern day.
Sure.
So, but no, and in terms of dinosaurs and humans, again, it's not a hill I'm going to die on. There's a lot of flaws with carbon dating, so that's why I'm not a fan of, saying the world is, however many billions of years old. You can actually take NASA data in terms of the dust on the moon. Now, again, this assumes that someone believes the moon is real and NASA isn't one giant deception agency, which a lot of people think, the name means deception in Hebrew and all kinds of other stuff. But those people also believe the earth is flat, so I can't help you. Sorry. Anytime they try proving it, it's...
We're going to inhabit the moon now.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Is the moon?
We found the technology to go back.
So why haven't we gone to the dark side of the moon?
That's interesting.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So the theory that I've heard is, when Neil and those guys were up there, they saw some stuff that was basically like, "Don't come back."
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think they saw some shit?
So the moon landing was real, is what you're saying?
I believe the moon landing was real. Yes, I don't believe it was faked in Hollywood with Stanley Kubrick and doing everything else.
But they got fucked up there and saw some shit.
They saw something. I don't know. But, all the arguments.
Why do you say that?
What do you mean?
Why do you say that? Do you think that they saw something up there?
I've read reports and read some stuff over the years where they saw it was some kind of weird black craft that just kind of showed up, and it was like there wasn't any kind of verbal communication, but it was one of those. You're a military man, there's certain posturing, like what China's trying to do right now with the planes in Canada, how they're flying. If that's the tip of the wing, they're this close.
Interesting.
I don't know if
that just happened. Yeah, the other day.
And they've been doing it for. They did with Canada, and they've done it with a couple different groups.
So there might be a base that's not ours up there or something, or
you got a guy like Tim,
some kind of life form.
Yeah, You got a guy like Tim Alberino that believes aliens came from the center of Mars. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that, but I definitely think aliens are real. I know something you want to talk about was aliens.
Yeah. That's what I was going to try and shift to. Before we do that, though, I want to stay kind of on the topic we're talking about as far as like spirituality and stuff. Yeah. So obviously, yes, evil exists, and there's all kinds of things here that point to like the apocalypse and, you know, Satan being, you know, present as we speak.
Yep.
What do you know about the Denver airport?
Ooh. Yeah,
that's a fun topic.
I actually just read.
I'm super intrigued by that.
Yeah,
right now.
So I actually have a personal friend that's been there.
Yeah,
and so he was.
The fuck is up with that?
Because we're talking tunnels and all this stuff, and there's a lot behind the Denver airport with that.
Are you familiar with it? All right, there's some weird shit in the Denver airport.
Yeah, Satanism everywhere.
Yeah, they've got murals on the wall with like giants like killing kids and chopping people, and like basically demonic murals
everywhere.
And this isn't like something like you'd see it and you're like, Ryan, I think this is kind of a stretch. If you saw this artwork in a public building, you'd be like, what is going on? Like, who commissioned this?
Yeah.
Why are my tax dollars funding this?
They got the horse.
Yeah.
With the red eyes.
Yep. Yeah. So I actually have a personal friend that he was there. He had a layover there, and it was a different terminal, and he knew what terminal that was. So he goes over and starts looking at the mural, and he said this lady comes up out of the blue. It's like, hey, how can I help you? No, I'm good. I'm just waiting for my connector flight. She's like, oh, is it here? No, I'm in terminal so and so. She's like, you need to leave.
What?
No, I'm just looking at the artwork here. She's like, no, you need to leave right now. And people got involved, and it became
because he was staring at the artwork.
Because he was just walking around.
Oh, what?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff, and like you mentioned, you got the tunnels.
Denver
International Airport.
Look it up. Look it up when you get home.
Oh, you can Google this. Google that.
Yeah, it's not a secret. They're not hiding.
Yeah, they're not hiding it. But there's
I never even heard of there was a thing there.
Shit ton of tunnels underneath.
Yep.
And a lot of people who are publicly saying, "Oh yeah, I've been down and I've seen them," and like so, it's factual. This stuff
that there's tunnels for sure. Yeah.
And then if you look at who funded it, you know, there's little cryptic messages throughout the airport who funded the construction of it too, which is, you know, that's another fun rabbit hole to get down there. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it definitely has ties to Freemasonry and those groups, which is, you know, I mean, they're the ones at the top of the pyramid, anyways.
Like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers.
Well, so those are part of the 13 families.
Yeah.
So there's
like Skull and Bones and all those guys.
So this,
they're heavily involved.
Yeah, those are the secret societies that, I mean, so arguably at the top of everything is Freemasonry, because once you get up to the 33rd degree and beyond, supposedly there's even more degrees there. It's Luciferian black magic.
Yeah. So, I've seen the pyramid. Dom Lucre posted the pyramid the other day. There's a lot of different fucking levels. Yeah. And Freemasonry is actually like, you know, it's towards the top, but it's not the top.
Yeah.
So they're all part of the group, though, all the families and everything. Because at the end of the day, with the different groups, and this is only reaffirmed by belief in Christ, is that the powers that be, it's Luciferianism. It's the complete 100% inversion of Christianity. What's light is dark. What's dark is light. You know, Lucifer, the bringer of light. Well, Lucifer was the fallen angel. You know, he was basically like the number 2, number 3 angel in God's entire army, and said, you know what? I'm too good for this. He took out the third of the angels and he left because he thought he was better. So, you know, I've got a book I grabbed off eBay from some Masonic temple from 1846 that, you know, dives in all kinds of symbolism and the different rites and everything. It's fun stuff. But if you guys really want to, you know, learn some more about this, if you're familiar with Bill Cooper, his Mystery Babylon series, he did a podcast series. I think it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, before he was taken out by the government. They said it was tax evasion, but the guy knew a lot of stuff. But he explained it.
Always.
He goes slow, but he explains from the beginning. But it's basically all the groups at the top. It doesn't matter. You know, it's the Shriners, the Freemasons, Knights of Columbus, Knights of Malta, you know, all those different groups. You know, it's kind of like, you know, some of the biker gangs, right? At the base level, they're doing a charity drive, they're doing a drive for kids, and that's great. But come on. Yeah. That's not, I mean, do you really think, like, I don't ever, and for anyone listening, I've met friends of the different groups. I have nothing against the Outlaws, the Angels, Banditos, none of that. Please don't come and kill me. I respect you guys. I don't want any problems, but you're 1%ers for a reason. You have your own, you know, network of things. And it's the same thing with these groups. You know, it's, You have them doing some kind of bake sale or charity sale in the neighborhood. And at the basic lodge level, are they doing anything sadistic? Of course not. It's drinking buddies. They just want to get together and talk about old times and but the way the local lodge is, the Blue Lodge is what it's called, it's a vetting system. So they see who has potential, who can we move up, who can we install and kind of maybe bring at the state level. And from there, maybe at a national chapter level, and from there, send them over to England or Scotland for the York or the Scottish Rites to bring them into the Adept. And
basically, who are the smartest sociopaths?
Who can they use? Who can they bring into the fold, and who can they trust to continue to do their bidding? Because at the top, and I've talked to guys that made it to the top and got out, and this is one of those early on for me. 2 different guys made it all the way up to different rites. And they got out, and both of them told me, like, Ryan, it's 100% black magic at the top. Like the stuff that we saw and the different rituals and everything is like, I was out. I had to get out.
Sacrificial.
Yes.
And fuck.
You know who?
And this was one of those. These guys did not know each other, and they both told me the same story verbatim. So this wasn't like they were meeting on chat. Like, hey, are you meeting up with Ryan? Let's tell him this really crazy story. They different areas, completely different walks of life. They had no way of crossing paths. Same story.
There's a local bodybuilder from Minneapolis. He used to come here. He's a physique guy, Doug Pearson. No, not Pearson, something else. But he was Doug, cool. Shit. I remember he used to come to the gym all the time. And shit.
I think I'm friends with him on Facebook.
He not too long ago, maybe a couple years ago, posted on Facebook that he and it was like a celebration picture with a bunch of other guys next to him. And he said he was officially a 33rd degree Mason.
Whoa.
So
he's low.
I wonder if we couldn't reach out to him and get him to come on and talk to us.
He's not.
He won't.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, the thing you got to understand too, it's kind of like when you get black belt martial arts. Like now you're at the beginning of the journey.
Yeah.
You've learned all the stuff. You've learned the basics. Or you get your pro card in bodybuilding, right? Cool. You got your pro card.
Yeah.
You haven't won the Olympia.
But now you ain't shit.
I was in recruiting school with a guy that was in Masons. He had the ring and everything.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, hey, dude, like, what's the deal, man? Like, what do you guys do? And he's like, I can't talk about it, man. And he would not talk about it. I mean, I think he was at the bottom level. Yeah. So he probably just meets, and has a couple drinks, but
they start up young.
But they can't talk about it.
Yeah. From the beginning, you take oaths. You can't say anything. In terms of getting blackballed, you guys know that comes from Freemasons, right?
Yeah.
You know how it works. Interesting. So if you guys don't know, so it's a voting process. So in a lodge, when they vote on things, they have a jar, and you're given a white marble and a black marble. Votes have to be unanimous. If even one black marble goes in there, that's where the term blackball comes from, because it has to be unanimous.
To kick them out?
Well, whatever they're voting on.
Yeah. Oh. But that's why celebrities use that term all the time. Like even in rap, they used to say all the time, like,
well, I've heard in NFL
getting blackballed in from the game, and like Snoop and all these people talking like they've been blackballed by this person. They use that terminology because they're familiar with what that terminology truly means.
The thing is too, though, is that so the Freemasons, it's not just weird old dudes that smoke cigars and back rooms at the local lodge. Right. It's everybody, all of Hollywood, all of music, just about anyone you look up to is involved.
Yep.
There's a reason why when you're looking at, like Rolling Stone or some photo shoot and they're doing one of these.
The one eye.
The one eye. It's because, the one eye, the all-seeing eye, the Rock pyramid.
It's The Rock. Yeah. Jay-Z.
Or you have some of them, they're doing one of those. Yeah. So as above as is below. I mean, that's Baphomet. That's, one of the things that they worship and study with that stuff. So all that to say, you have
that girl.
John Legend's wife or whatever.
No, it was not his wife, but it was just her co-host or something. She was like,
and John didn't bat an eye, but I mean, he's very well versed in that stuff. But you saw the look on her. I'm sure you guys seen the video. You saw the look on her face, just like
she's like, oh fuck,
wrong crowd to do this for. My bad.
But then, I mean, LeBron does that shit too.
Yeah, it's his celebration.
Yeah,
he does it at the beginning of every game. It's how he prepped for the game, throws up the sixes, everything.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy because they do it right in our faces, but yet we're conspiracy theorists.
But there's a reason for that. You know why that is, right?
Because they have to.
It's because when they put something out in the open, that's their absolution.
Yeah, that's how it becomes.
So they'll say things. They'll make a
they have to tell you about it for it to become
true. And it could be a cryptic post on some random forum, but the fact that they put it out there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it because I don't want people to think I'm crazy, but insert some really heinous thing that they're gonna do. It's like, oh well, sorry, I put that out there.
So when
so I'm good. Now we can do it.
Tom Cruise made the movie Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, they were exposing themselves.
They're like, hey man, we actually do this shit.
Yeah. So that was Kubrick's last film, and that Kubrick was heavily involved in those secret societies. So it was a small expose on what was going on there. But I mean, that was just like tip of the iceberg. Yeah. But I mean,
but Tom was involved at that point, though, right?
Oh, he still is.
Well, I mean, like he was in it back then.
They all are.
Scientology, bro.
Yeah.
So is Scientology just a branch of the Masons?
Yeah, I mean, Scientology. When you go in there and you have to confess your sins for the Thetan reading or whatever, it's so they get the dirt on you. Oh, hey, Cody. You want to move up? Oh, you want to get out? Yeah, I wish I could let you go. However, remember when you had your 4-hour-long confessional and you told us everything you've ever done? You're not going anywhere. We're going to destroy you. We are absolutely going to. You may as well commit suicide, because if you try getting out, we're letting all this out, and this will absolutely wreck you. Because it's not like, oh yeah, when I was little, I stole a PlayStation game from the store and I never told anyone. Well, no one's going to care about that. They're getting at the stuff of like, oh, you're have an addiction to hardcore pornography, like child porn and all the other stuff, but you're not doing it anymore. Well, now they got dirt on you because you're into.
Well, they had that dirt already too. They get you to confess it most times.
But that's just it. So then they have recordings and they have proof of it. So then but just like we were saying earlier, with Mossad and the CIA, like it's all honeypots. That's how they get you, and that's how they control you. And when you want to play the game, that's how you rise to that's how you rise to prominence.
You gotta be careful with your porn, boys.
Or just don't watch porn. Just get married and don't watch porn.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you guys looking at me?
Dion's like, I know all their names too.
Yeah, no, I don't know anybody. So over the week here, I watched the Black Klansman on Netflix. You guys should watch it. It's interesting.
I remember someone was telling us to watch that.
It's basically about a police officer who's black, and he infiltrates the KKK. And then he has one of the police buddies there, or one of his police detectives. He goes and pretends to be him, but he handles the black cop handles all of the talking over the phone still. And so they basically cooperate with each other to get higher up into the KKK. And you guys talking about the masonry got me to think about that, because he basically does that same thing. He works his way up. They don't have to obviously give anything because it's just a movie, but it was very cool.
Let me ask you before we close, if you don't have anything else.
I got all the time in the world. We can go as long as you guys want.
Biden, lizard or clone?
Oh, there's multiple versions of him.
No, it's like Saddam.
I love how he's just like,
no, seriously.
You seen the one today on the airplane when he was flying in Air Force One back from Israel? He has this fucking crazy chin, bro, like 2 big balls on the hard ball, and they compared it to a picture of him from just yesterday. They're like, where did this chin come from?
Next time you see Joe, watch his earlobes. There's one, because it's a trait. Some people like myself, it's unconnected, and other guys it's connected. There are at least 2 versions of him. Some of them it's connected,
some it's not,
and some of it's not. That's just one example.
Weird.
So this isn't like, Ryan, you're making... No. Just watch.
Yeah. They're putting... Go look for the picture of the one where he's talking on Air Force One on the way back from Israel today. And he's giving this little weird discussion. David Harris or someone posted it recently. Yeah. And everyone's just like, where did this chin come from? Because it's a completely deformed chin. It's dented in. Really, it's like a giant cleft chin, but it looks like the bottom of an apple. It's so big.
That's what that's called, is a cleft chin?
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
I call that just a ball chin.
It's so weird because it's so prominent, bro, and you've never seen it before.
Ever. The dude's been in the Senate for how many years now? Yeah. How many decades?
His chin's never looked like this
Same thing with Fetterman, or what?
What's that?
Same thing with Fetterman.
Oh my gosh. Dude, it's even worse. There's pictures of him without... He's got giant tattoos on his arms. And there are pictures of him without wearing his signature hoodie, which I don't know how you can just dress like a slob and be... But that's the current state of America. Yep. He doesn't have any tattoos on his arms. And then you see him in an interview the next week and he's got tattoos again.
Or his face is always a different face, bro. Sometimes he's got
that one is frow, crazy because I don't even I can't. Yeah. He looks like a completely different guy.
Well, and just like Biden, you get some of them where he's speaking clear as day, and other ones are just kind of like, "Hey, John, what do you think about this?" Well, my wallet's carbon fiber, but gas in my car.
Like the guy they sent to Israel, all of a sudden he's using fucking 3x5 cards to have a conversation with that fucking guy, the president that he's there to visit, bro.
Just
on television,
reading right off the card.
He's supposed to be just having a conversation.
But it's funny because he was reading the card. He's just talking like this.
Yeah. But so this is the dude that doesn't look like Joe Biden all of a sudden too. So it's just like that's the guy they're sending overseas.
Could you imagine if they sent our real president over there? Like, there's no way they're sending Joe Biden over to Israel while they're in mid-war. That doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean,
you got to understand war laws though too. It's different. It's not like what you think.
What if Zelensky can leave the country when he's in war and
do interviews
and host the Grammys and everything else? I mean, why couldn't we go over there?
Fucking do all of
what a
these interviews.
show he puts on, bro. It's so weird.
Dude. Oh god, that pisses me off.
That was something else.
Yeah,
I mean, we got enough problems here in Fargo. We got homeless people
coming begging for money.
You know,
can't even wear a suit
with their cell phones.
Can't even wear a suit, and he's fucking begging for money.
If you know, I live in South Fargo, and you know, the Five Guys there. I'll go there for a cheap meal, and I know I don't look it, but I'm trying to drop weight. But you know, I'll go there, and there's a homeless guy just hanging outside right off 52nd Avenue.
Yep.
You know, like when I was living out in Boston, like I would expect that. When I was down in Baltimore, you know, down by Johns Hopkins, I remember walking by. I was with Jim Wendler and some other guys at a metal festival, and so we're walking around late at night to get to our hotel room, and I just saw this like row of people in sleeping bags outside of this church. But again, it's Baltimore. It's one of the most crime-ridden cities in the country.
This is new to Fargo, bro. Yeah, like this the beggars everywhere and the homelessness. Yeah. It's a lot newer to Fargo than like it's ever been.
I left in the late 90s to move out to the East Coast. I mean, granted, I was in Grand Forks, not in Fargo, but yeah, I don't remember this stuff. No, I mean, good. I know things change, but still, like,
what's sad is a lot of it isn't real. You know, there's this thing circulating all over like Facebook locally about one of the girls that goes out and begs with her husband, and they have a kid or a dog or something. She's a nurse at one of the local hospitals here. Yeah. And people are recognizing her as the nurse they just saw the day before yesterday.
Well, there's stories in big cities where guys do that, and they have a 6-7 figure income.
Yeah.
But because they go in the right areas, it's such a nice supplemental side income.
Yeah.
And you'll see them, like sometimes they'll get one of the hidden cameras and they'll follow him around, and all of a sudden this guy pops off his clothes, he gets into his Porsche and drives away, and you're just like, wait, what? You just asked me for $20 saying, you know, you had to feed your family, and he's just like, all right, see you later, just drives off, no remote whatsoever.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah, I don't even like to get into that one. It makes me so mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, you know, we're funneling billions and billions of dollars. That's just coming back to the corrupt politicians here. I mean, that's nothing new, but they're just doing it in our face now.
Yeah.
But again, like, Bergam, if you're ever watching this, like, let's do something. Instead of sending more money over to any of these countries, let's fix the homeless population. Let's help the Native Americans out. Let's do something to build the city and build our community instead of giving money to corrupt assholes.
Dougie's gonna watch this eventually. Hey, we have to. You guys got to buy all your 5.56. I don't know if you saw my post today.
Yeah.
My cousin really keeps up on
how
prices of ammo and everything.
The Czech company bought out all the big ammo suppliers.
Yeah. So government's kind of taking over the prices, and they're going to be skyrocketing. So 5.56 will probably go up to like $1 a round.
I'm gonna stock up like crazy,
which is fucking crazy.
I'm thinking about buying a shotgun this weekend.
You should.
Mossberg 500A.
There you go.
Got it then.
Dude, I fucking love shotguns.
I told Nicole, she was like,
all kinds of shotguns.
She said, I'm not paying for any of it. I said, you can't use it then, I guess.
Yeah, you can't fuck with
Cody,
it.
can you give me an AA-12?
Just tell her you can't protect her with it either.
Can I get you a what?
I said, you're on your own.
I don't even know what that is.
Look up the AA-12. It's the greatest shot. Like, if Jesus had a shotgun, it would be the AA-12.
Really?
Fully automatic.
It's illegal?
Well, I've looked, even with lottery money, if you get, you know, how you have to get regular license and the fully automatic license, everything else, even then I don't think you can get it.
That'd be interesting.
I bet you could.
You know, so Terry Crews in The Expendables, that first video when he's double fisting those guns, that's an AA-12.
Yeah.
Fully automatic, you know, drum barrel shotguns.
They got those in Modern Warfare. No, I know what you're talking about. Once you said double holding shotguns, I know instantly. I was
that's
like,
the AA-12.
Yeah.
You want a zombie apocalypse gun to mow down a crowd? That's the one.
Those ones are good in zombies too, in Call of Duty. So
plus those you can do slugs. You don't even have to do like buckshot. You can do slugs with those ones.
That's pretty sick.
Damn.
We gotta get this guy back on.
Yeah,
I say so.
We gotta have you. We gotta do a part 2 to this, honestly.
Dude, let's do part 10. I don't care.
Yeah, we were able to get so much just on one topic with you, and I know you have a wealth more of information on other.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. You got me going on so many different levels.
No, let's do it again. I will bring you back for a part 2 and see where it goes from there too, because I'm sure we'll only get another single topic.
Yeah,
but
whatever you
this
want.
was awesome, bro. I think you have a lot of information, and I know that you don't claim all the stuff you know is factual, but you have a really good lot of information to share.
I can back up what I'm saying, and I'll bring documents if you guys want it.
Yeah, no, I think we don't have to prove nothing on this show, bro. we just talk our shit.
We say we put the information out there. You guys can
go figure it out for yourself.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm more than happy to share. If people really genuinely want to learn stuff, I can give you guys the resources I have. There's guys that
Google the Denver International Airport. Satanism or something.
Yeah, check it out, man. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
I knew it was going to be a good conversation. We're going to do it again. We'll get into some more topics and we'll make it crazy. Maybe we will do a 10-part series or something with you. We'll see what happens, man. But I appreciate you coming out. I don't know. I know you do music. You're in a band and whatnot. Do you have anything you want to share to the public, like a page to follow, anything like that you care to throw out?
Yeah, I just have my Instagram. If you want to follow, if you don't want to follow, I don't
Derbheen.
really care. Derbheen. I like people are always like, let's tell the story behind that because people always ask me.
Derbheen.
Yeah.
Right. So people
I thought he started following us one day. I was like, no way. Then I looked, I was like, oh, that fucking guy. I read it wrong.
Never even followed me back. So this was the Chael Sonnen Anderson Silva 2 fight, the rematch. And so I'm at my buddies in New York. We're watching. And the whole night, Herb's my favorite referee. I've been following
everybody's.
I've been following UFC almost as long as I've been reading up on this stuff. I'm excited about the fights coming up
tomorrow or Saturday. I mean,
Saturday. That one, I'm more excited for Jones and Stipe because I love both those guys.
That one, yeah.
I mean, I think Stipe's gonna get his head kicked in, and I hate saying that because I love Stipe. Crow Cop's my favorite fighter of all time.
Yeah,
he was bad.
But some huge legs.
And Stipe was one of those. To me, he was like a modern day Crow Cop. And then, like, most dominant heavyweight champ in UFC history. But now we got John Jones, the greatest fighter of all time. Like, say what you want about John in his personal life. I don't care. I think he's kind of a dirtbag, although I'd like to shake his hand. But his ring IQ is untouchable.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one of his early fights, he was ground and pounding guy. The bell was about to go. You hear the 10 seconds left. So he looks up at the clock. He's going down on the guy. As he's getting up, does a spinning back fist across the guy's face right as the bell's getting up. He has so much body awareness. It's just kind of one of those like, fuck you. He just backhands the guy like, I'm just going to demolish you the next round. Like, you can't. Yeah. And now without USADA testing, things are going to get even more fun.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. But anyway,
that's going to be fun.
So that fight, anyway, back to my story here. So
that's how Connor's coming back.
Yeah. So, and he just threw a bunch of money on him off his Lambo yacht too, because he was like, "Hi, you want some money?" He threw money. It's a funny video. So that the whole card, I was like, "Where's Herb? Where's Herb?" And so he comes out for that fight, and he is just skin and bones. And I'm like, "Oh shit, does Herb have cancer?" Like, it's just not, I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but I look at him and I'm like, "What is going on?" So this buddy of mine and I, we would always make just bizarre names for video game characters. So I was just, and then I pull out my phone. I'm like, everything okay with I almost called Derp with Herb? What's going on with Herb? I've had the name for so long. So and I like, no, he's perfectly fine. Maybe he just lost weight. I don't know. So I was like, well, I guess in an alternate universe, Derbheen would be the cancer-stricken version of Herb Dean. Yeah, I know it's kind of morbid. And Herb, no disrespect. If you ever want me to change my name once my account blows up, I'm happy to do it, brother. Yeah, nothing but respect for you. But yeah, that was just Derbheen, and on Instagram. That's really the only social media I use. It's pretty boring. I just post memes in my story once my studio's up and running, which should be soon. I'll probably start doing more drum related content for music, but cool.
The funniest videos are Connor just coked out of his head going in the mirror.
I'm almost embarrassed for him.
Dude, he's gonna get fucking destroyed.
He's I don't know.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's up in the air, honestly.
Chandler's gonna fucking destroy him.
I thought that fight was up. I thought he said he wasn't gonna fight Chandler. They're going with someone else.
I don't know who he's fighting yet.
The last I heard was Chandler in December.
Anybody will take that fight. They're gonna make money.
Well, they're gonna get paid. Yeah. I mean, you do have to give him props though. Look how long he lasted with Mayweather.
Yeah,
that was impressive.
He did good.
That was a long time ago though. Now.
It was, and I'm not
compared to what he's like today. Like that dude's just off his rocker.
He's gonna get annihilated.
He's had a great career for sure. I mean, other than
one of the greatest. What do you mean? Like that guy changed the game, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone is now a wannabe Connor.
Shit talker.
Yeah.
Well, look at O'Malley. I mean, he almost has verbatim. I mean, O'Malley's a phenomenal.
Or the
fighter.
new kid from Ireland. What's his name?
Paddy?
Paddy
Pimblett. No, not Paddy. The new guy.
I was gonna say
Casey. No, he's American.
No, he just fought recently. He's like a youngster. Like he acts like Connor, looks like Connor, moves like
I know
Connor.
Who you're
Connor was
talking
working
about.
with
I can't
him.
remember his name.
I can't think of his fucking name right now, but he just fought like a few weeks ago. It's like his second.
He was talking mad shit too. I remember. I can't remember his name though.
This kid backs it. He's bad, bro. Bad.
He's Irish?
Yeah.
He's bigger though.
But is he enough for the Dagestanis though?
No. We'll see. He wants
I'm
everybody.
Not sure.
He's claiming he's got.
I gotta figure out who it was because
I can't remember his damn name right now, but it'll come to me. I almost want to say something like Lily or some shit like that. I can't think of it.
Do you think Volk will take it this weekend?
I don't know. I think he's gonna get rocked. Actually.
I think Volk is actually one of the most entertaining fighters to watch.
He is, but I think he's about to get fucking done for.
He moves like an absolute like machine. It's crazy how he fights. And he just doesn't get tired. He keeps going at the same pace.
200 plus pound like semi-pro rugby player. And he fights at 145. So I mean, the dude's used to carrying. I mean, imagine if one of us cut down to that size.
I hope he wins.
I hope he wins too.
Yeah, I would like to see him win, but I don't know. I think that it's gonna end the same way.
Yeah. Well, and I hope Usman. I hope he wins because shut that fucker up, dude. Yeah. I smash you. I kill you all. I kill you. Shut the fuck up, dude.
It's gonna be a good fight. I can't wait to watch it. Cool. We're going to end this one, man. I appreciate you coming by again, Ryan. It was a good conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, check out the podcast. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, all that good stuff now. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Doesn't matter. Talk your shit. Don't talk your shit just as long as you're talking about us. Peace.